All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to the May meeting of the DuPage ROSC Council. My name is Jared Burton. I am your DuPage ROSC coordinator. Again, if we could start by just making sure everybody is muted on their end, which helps us to cut down on interruptions. There will be time, as there always is, for conversation, for questions, for comments, of all the stuff we're going to be going over today. So please feel free to hold your comments for that time, and then that'll allow us to get through everything today. So, like we said, we're here at 360 Youth Services in Naperville. We are continuing our tour of DuPage and surrounding counties. We have been at it for a year, right about a year, and we're going to be celebrating that next month when we come full circle, and I will promote that very, very shortly. But as always, I think it's good to, first of all, just kind of describe what a ROSC is for folks who maybe are here for the first time. Not only that, what does DuPage ROSC do? So ROSC stands for Recovery Oriented System of Care. Kind of the elevator pitch version we have for that is it is a coordinated effort of organizations that do stuff on the recovery continuum. So that could be everything from treatment centers to hospitals to social service organizations, churches, first responders, you name it. If it has something to do with early recovery from substance use and co-occurring mental health, we do something involved with it. So a lot of work around stigma reduction, ensuring effective service delivery, making sure that MAT and MAR options are available, all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested or that sounds interesting to you, this is our council meeting that we do once a month on the second Wednesday of every month, where we all get together to talk about some of the things that our organizations are working on. So it's a good chance to promote some of those things. We usually spotlight an organization or two, like today. Like I said, we're going to be speaking with our friends at 360 Youth Services, but it's also a chance to get involved kind of at a deeper level. So if you're somebody at an organization who does outreach, if you're somebody who does collaborative grant programs, if you're somebody that just has needs, if you want help at a meeting, you name it, if you get involved in the ROS, chances are we can help you out with it. So we've got a great group of people here. DuPage is run through lead agency Serenity House Counseling Services in Addison. And we also have, and we're very, very lucky and thrilled to have had the Kane County ROSC Council as well, which is run by my colleague Annette and her wonderful team. So glad to be here with you with that preamble out of the way. I always like to start with an icebreaker question. So this week, a little bit later in the meeting, we're going to be talking about stigma reduction. So stigma reduction is really, really important to the ROSC. It's something we've done a project or program on for the past 3 or 4 years. We've done everything from fentanyl awareness to co-occurring mental health awareness and stigma reduction. And then this year, thrilled to have kind of partnered up and teamed up with our friends at the BHC in the health department to do some stuff around sober living stigma reduction. So thinking about stigma, I wanted to ask everybody who's here, is there a particular part or stigma related to substance use or mental health that you wish that we could just get rid of completely? So that might be a specific type of stigmatizing word. That could be an outdated treatment modality. That could be a way that things are stereotyped that maybe you find stigmatizing. So I wanted to kind of throw that out there. If people online have some, they could raise their little digital hand. Our in-person folks, I have the fun Price is Right microphone that Annette will be walking around with, and I'll start. So I wanna throw an example out there. So most of my focus is usually on substance use. That's kind of like my wheelhouse. Obviously, there's some co-occurring mental health stuff, but I've really tried to get better about the mental health part of the stigma piece. For me, the language is always super, super important. And so even like cutting out a word like crazy, I've really tried to cut back on stuff like that, because even a word like that can be stigmatizing for somebody who has suffered with a co-occurring or just a primary mental illness. So even cutting down on language or something, I think is really, really helpful. I did see one in the chat. If people here in person have one they want to do, we can get there. Hang on one second. What do you have in the chat here? I think Tracy said something about some language. Get rid of the word addict. Yeah, addict is not great. I think sometimes addict's a little bit reductive. People internalize that and they think all I am is this addiction or this disease part of me is what I am. Annette, did you have one?
Like I'm
The
with you.
blue light's on, right?
Yeah, I'm with everyone else with the language as well. I really hate the word disorder.
Disorder. Okay.
Yes, I hate that word.
Interesting. So, those of you may know, we started using a couple of years ago the word challenge in place of disorder. So, instead of a opioid use disorder, someone might have an opioid use challenge. So, challenge is something that can be worked on and overcome. And
Correct.
so, disorder does sound more like kind of a debilitating something. So that's a good one. Anybody else online? I do see something about mental health struggles should not be treated like health issues. That's a good one,
Yeah,
Annie.
I
Not a
love
flaw in the character. Anybody else here in person?
me too.
Going once, going twice. Well, think about these stigmatizing words that we use related to substance use stuff, but also the mental health thing. I'd also like to maybe change the way we think about referring to our friends who are unhoused. Homeless was one of those words that we have to try to get out of our vocabulary. I know that homeless is still kind of I don't know, like it's still like an official word sometimes in the language of grants or like the language of programs. And I think that's one of those that we could work on. And we do by saying usually unhoused or even something, I know it sounds silly, but we'll say like our friends who live outside. Like I know that sounds funny, but that's kind of the truth. It's just people who are temporarily living outside while they're, getting ready to maybe find some services or something else. So going once, going twice, those are some good ones. But if anybody has one or even a word, you can absolutely raise your hand and we'll get to you on that. I'm gonna try to like unanchor this one view because I don't know why we're only getting speakers. Let's get a gallery view. And then we'll get into today's meeting. Let's do this. I'm gonna share the agenda and we'll kind of go through some housekeeping before we start talking to our wonderful host for today here at 360 Youth Services. So I'm gonna share the screen. Okay. So, as always, I like to update you. We're right about here, right about where the agenda is. So, we're going to preview all kinds of upcoming meetings and trainings and things that we have going on through the ROSC and through the ROSC partners. I'm going to talk to Kelsey, and I know Nini's online too, who come to us through the Impact Recovery Corps project. They've both been fantastic project coordinators while they've been here. And I won't spoil the good news, which we'll tell about them coming up when we speak to them. After that is we are going to speak to Ezra, our friend from 360 Youth Services, who, if you've been coming to Ross meetings, you know Ezra. He actually was the one who accepted the Harm Reduction Award on behalf of 360 this year. So glad to be speaking with him. We're going to talk about some of the stigma reduction campaign, like I mentioned earlier with those videos. We have a really cool event coming up next week that I'm excited to tell you guys about as it relates to that. And then talk a little bit about some of the harm reduction and mobile outreach stuff that's been going on through our lead agency at Serenity House, but also through some of the ROS programs, connecting people to services, and a lot of opportunities for collaboration. So we're going to talk about that. And at the end, we always, always, always leave time for everybody's updates, requests, meeting help, whatever it is you need. We do like to leave some time for everybody. So a couple things to promote first off. Next month, now I know I mentioned that we have been on tour for about a year. The very one of the very first places, could have been the first place that hosted us, was over at Banyan Treatment Center in Lisle. They were fantastic hosts. They set the pace for everybody else, and they did a really great job. Mike Wood and company over there do phenomenal work as it relates to substance use, not only for residential, but for outpatient treatment and all kinds of different things. So really, really great site. Come over and visit us. That'll be at 2525 Cabot Drive over in Lisle at the Banyan Treatment Center. If you would like to host one of our meetings, we would love to come out to your site. We're pretty good guests, I would say, right? Yeah, we usually bring treats. We bring coffee, snacks, and we also bring gifts to take with you, aka Narcan and other harm reduction materials. So if you're interested, let us know. We'd love to come out to your site. That thing I talked about that's happening next week is this DuPage ROSC special presentation series event. Scott Kaufman, I think I saw you on there. If you would like to speak briefly about this, you can. But I just wanted to point out that we will be holding in the usual place of the DuPage ROSC presentation series next Wednesday. a live virtual watch party for an extended clip featuring kind of longer form interviews with some of the participants who've taken place in this stigma reduction campaign over the past couple of months. And we will also have those people at that meeting as well as some of the production team. So answering questions, just kind of talking about the experience. Scott, what would you like to add, if anything, to that?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to anyone here that was a part of that. Thank you to everyone here that helped share that message. I apologize for having taken a little bit of each of the last like five or so ROSC meetings to talk about this project, but it really has been such an amazing opportunity. Thank you so much to Jarrett and Danielle from ROSC, but every single one of the people that helped us out. It wouldn't be possible without you. And this is really the what we see the culmination. Each of the social media videos that we shared was about 2 or so minutes. This is
Hmm.
going to be a full like just under 10 minutes. And the goal is that this video will sort of the video that we'll show at the meeting a week from now will sort of stand on its own and speak for itself as far as if you are trying to give somebody a crash course into the positive side of sober living, this video will be if you have 10 minutes of time at a meeting to share stories of people that are working on their recovery and what sober living meant to them. That's what this video is supposed to be. We will talk at length about sort of ways to use this and maybe use this to sway people that might be on the fence about sober living or get people from the squarely against it to maybe being a little bit more on the fence about it during that session. But want to say like really looking forward to it and thank you to everybody who is helping out with that, especially Jarrett and Rosk.
Thanks, Scott. If I can just take a couple of minutes here, this for anybody who can't make it next week, I would like to just kind of maybe express a bit of an anecdote about this and why reducing stigma around this is so important to me. So many of you know I'm a product of sober living in DuPage. I got to Serenity House in January 2019. I kind of never left in a lot of ways. They just kept giving me work, which is cool. But you know, before I'd even found Serenity House, I had one kind of misconception or one big misconception about what sober living was. All I thought was it was where IDOC brought the prisoner transport and they just let you straight out into the house. And, you know, it's not that. And so, you know, it was my own journey too of figuring out stigmas around this stuff and my own kind of awakening to the importance of sober living, not only just in like my personal life, but also in trying to reduce that stigma that's still there. And I'm going to give just a very brief anecdote, but you know, I've been in front of multiple, you know, mental health boards and city councils and other things, and some of the misconceptions, y'all, about sober living are so far beyond the pale that it's like the most important part of some of this is just educating people on what sober living is not. And I think that's where this was so important to me because I've heard things across the years like they sell drugs out of those houses, or they're going to have parties all the time, or they're going to smoke on the front porch and drive my property value down. The one of the crazier ones was like, you know, you might be putting cameras on our backyards and stuff. So like the misconceptions are so big that this really can seem like a slow process, but just the fact that we're able to make videos about this now, and Brianna's right here, who from Oxford House, who had an amazing part in that as well. So it's important for those of us who've gone through this to be able to talk about it. So for people who are on the fence out there, who maybe are like have the same misconception I did about sober living, can make that decision to actually give it a shot. So if you can come out to this next Wednesday, it's all virtual. We want to pack that virtual room. There's no limit to how many people I can fit in there. So share this, but also importantly, share the videos. And if we have some time, I might play a little bit of one of the previous videos kind of at the end if you haven't seen any of them. So stick around for that. So thank you. Also, We kind of have now. It says winter. I'm going to kind of keep this drive going, mostly because it's actually helped out quite a bit lately. So, if you're unfamiliar, one of our great partners in the community is the Glen Ellen Public Library. They were the first library in DuPage, everybody, to put an Narcan box in, which is pretty forward thinking for Glen Ellen in that area. And they also have on site at the library a community closet. Now, at that closet, they carry just a lot of the things that people who maybe are in need can stop in and get those things free of cost. So, a lot of baby and toddler stuff. So, people looking for diapers, I think they said size 4 and above. That's right. Now, hand to the man, I know nothing about diaper sizes. I was schooled by my team. Because I was like, well, it's just diapers, right? Like,
Eyes.
you just ask for diapers. Like,
Yes.
so, no, 4, 5, and 6. But most importantly, baby wipes. So, we picked up an entire pallet of baby wipes from Loaves and Fishes about a month and a half ago. And I was like, we're never going to move all of these. Guys, we have gotten through so many baby wipes, not only because of drives like this, but also because we take them on our mobile outreach unit. So, our friends who are unhoused, especially the ones who are living possibly in tents or living outdoors, being able to bathe is a luxury a lot of them don't have. And so, even something as simple as baby wipes, sanitizers, things like that is really important. But the ones that we don't get through the van, we usually try to donate to the library. So if you have any of this stuff, we would love to take it. We will find a way to get it from you too. You don't have to drop it off. We'll figure it out. I'm then going to move on to another little quick donation thing. I've been talking about the mobile outreach unit. So what that means is literally it's a van. It's van one of two. Van number two is coming very shortly. It's off getting, I think, retrofitted with some stuff. But a big part of what makes this particular program function is the people, A, but also the stuff that we're bringing out into the community. So we're not just bringing Narcan and test strips, which of course we are, but we're bringing the stuff that people who are in these living situations could really, really benefit from. So I am now going to talk to Kelsey, who's here in person with me. And I know Nini's online, so I may chat with her in a second. But Kelsey, just make sure that blue light's on. We're good. Okay, so Kelsey Chavez comes to us through Ampact, which is a great way to get into this field, by the way. We could talk about that at the end. But her and her colleague Nini have done an amazing job with the donation stuff. So why don't you talk a little bit about that, and then any other updates you want to give?
Thank you, Jared. Hi, everyone. I'm Kelsey.
Hi.
Thankful to be here. I am a project coordinator from AmeriCorps Recovery Corps, serving at Serenity House. And yeah, I'm basically in charge of stocking the van and making sure it has all the necessities it needs. So, such as women, men, shirts, pants, socks, underwear, bras, hygiene products such as toothbrushes. We got little band-aids, little alcohol prep pads, packed together in some little bags for our unhoused friends. We also have mouthwash, we got body wash, we got lotion.
What seems to be
So
like the most popular these days as we kind of get a little bit warmer?
the most popular is the toiletries, and we are looking for summer attire. So that's like
Socks
tank
too.
tops, shorts, socks for sure. Socks is a huge one. Shoes,
Yeah.
we're interested in bug spray, sunscreen, possibly. Everything that is on our van is anything somebody who has nothing would need. So we carry snacks, first aid supplies, toiletries, gently new, used. Some things still come to us with tags on it, which is awesome. And for the animals as well, we do have a
Yeah.
little bit of stuff, cats, dogs,
So
foods, blanket.
I want to talk about that briefly. So when we started doing this, and so real quick, so we go out on Sundays in Aurora. So we bring the van out to by Hesed House. It's next to a dog park. We were thinking like, okay, maybe we'll bring a few dog things just for people. People love it, like especially those unhoused friends who have animals with them. We've been able to give them blankets, dog food. They do a lot of animal rescues out of animal control of animals who are scheduled to be put down. So we provide those people with stuff for them. So it's a really cool way if you're an animal person to get involved with recovery too at the same time. So Nini, you're online. Let me ask you something. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the like the strategy of like where we've been going to ask for donations?
Oh, absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Nini Velasquez. I'm currently serving as a project coordinator through AMPAC at Serenity House in DuPage ROSC. So right now, a lot of the things. I'm sorry, Jared. Can you ask the question again? I'm
No,
distracted.
yeah, just where we're kind of strategizing of like where to ask donations. So different places we've tried to go and maybe out of the box thinking a little bit.
Absolutely. So, one in particular, like you spoke of, was Loaves and Fishes, where we collect from. Sharing Connections, they've been very helpful with us with collecting socks. That's like a big need that we have in our
Yes.
community. And also, we have a box. This is our second season with Hatch Dispensary in Addison, Illinois. They've been
Yes.
collecting for us since our winter drive. So I usually connect with them at the end of the month to collect the donations that they have provided for us. A lot of the things they've gave us is like safe kits for the unhoused.
Yes.
We've received snacks. We've received toiletry items. So that one was a really out of the box place for us to connect with it, the I guess the stigma that goes behind that, working
Yeah.
with a dispensary. But they are very involved in the community. They've always wanted to partner with other organizations, and we were lucky enough to partner with them, and it's been ongoing and will continue.
Beautiful, beautiful. Also, I want to give a shout out to College of DuPage, but especially the Awakenings group through College of DuPage, and Bruce Seawick, who helped us get a box in there for a couple of months. Same thing with ECC, through their CRSS program. They had a box up in there. And then a few other places. Glendale Heights PD has one currently. NAMI DuPage has one. So if your organization would be willing to just let us put a box that says donations here, please, we would love to have one. So just reach out to us and we'll work that out. But I just want to say thanks to Kelsey and Nini. I would like to also say that Kelsey and Nini have decided to stay on for a second service term with us. Now they're going to be switching to a recovery navigator position, so where they're going to be able to do more person-to-person peer support services. So if that's something that sounds like your organization could benefit from, you can chat with us. But yeah, I'm glad both of you are staying on. You've done such
Thank
great work. So congratulations to both of you. Round of
you.
applause
We
for those two.
appreciate it.
Wow.
Patience, guys.
Great job, Nini. All right, now my other favorite person, Annette Villarreal, who is the Kane County ROSC coordinator. We're going to talk about a few things going on in Kane County. So let's talk about free harm reduction materials.
Of course, all the time. So we have our drop-in services that are being held every Tuesday at our Geneva location. Believe it or not, we do have an office in Geneva. It is at 825 West State Street, Suite 115. It's not a very big space, but there is a lot of
Cozy.
it's cozy. There is a lot of things going on. It's very mighty for it being tiny. But we have great things going on there. So we have had a few members in the community come and visit us. Some have come for support. Some have come just to sit down and talk, to be honest. And they continue to come and visit us. So we're very happy about the increase
Yeah.
in people coming.
So let's talk also about some reentry supports.
So
That's also
our
happening out of that
Exactly. So our reentry fellowship program is also being held at our Geneva office. That is happening on Tuesdays from 12 to 2. When I am there, there is a bilingual service. And then also, it is happening on Thursdays with Walter Sanders from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It is also bilingual at that time. And these reentry services are for men and women. So just keep that in mind.
So I want to talk just briefly about some of these services. Now, the services that we're providing here are all coming from feedback we've gotten from the years of going into Kane and DuPage County corrections to lead classes. These are the types of things we hear that when they get out, there's anxiety about living situations. There's anxiety about jobs. Some of them report that they haven't had a quote unquote above ground job
Yes,
for
legit.
decades.
Yeah.
So it's working with them on that type of thing. So resume building. But just as importantly as some of these tangible things here, connection is every bit as important.
It is.
Sometimes these men and women just want to be around other men and women who have been incarcerated recently. There's a lot of traumatic situations involved in being incarcerated. So finding that connection with those people is really, really important. Even if that's all they get out of coming to this, we'd rather have that than them feeling like they're getting thrown to the wolves
Or
when they
they're
re-enter.
isolated,
Yeah,
correct.
they're isolated. But I can speak from experience, the jobs thing. There is such a barrier against felons, but also, as I always say, my tagline is, it's hard enough to re-enter if you're not in recovery. But now imagine you're re-entering and you're in recovery. It can be doubly hard for some of those
It is.
people. So what we do is try to provide that kind of safe space for them to come and be for a couple of hours per week, if
Correct.
nothing else. So how do people do that? Can they just come out to it? Do they reach out to somebody?
There's a number there. They can go ahead and reach out if they want to reach out, but they're more than welcome. We take walk-ins, so they're more than welcome just to walk in.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I don't think I see the flyer for your meeting. Do you want to just mention where you're going to be next week?
So our meeting for the Kane County ROSC is going to be held at Mutual Ground. That is going to be Mutual Ground at 410 Oak Street in
That
Aurora.
sounds familiar, yes.
410
Mutual
Oak
Ground.
Street in Mutual Ground in Aurora. The the flyer is up on the Kane County Health Department's calendar, and it's also been out to all the council members, and we'll put it up on our Facebook as well.
Perfect. I just want to shout out real quick the virtual Narcan training. This is on the second Tuesday of every month during that drop-in time.
Correct.
If you or somebody you know could benefit from this, it's a good 101, but it's also a good brush up because we always try to keep like emerging substances and stuff like that on there. So we would love for you to check that out too. So Nat, anything else you'd like to promote on Mondays or anything else that could use some help?
Besides, just always asking the community to come out and help us on Sundays
Yes.
at the mobile van. I mean, we do go out during the week, but Sundays are
We can talk about food.
yeah,
Yes.
are a little are a little more specialized, right?
Yes.
Because it is a Sunday. And so again, we like to go out there with snack bags, but we also like to go out there with something, to some kind of food, something
warm
for them,
food.
some warm food for, to sit down and talk and eat, right? So we are asking anyone in the community if they would like to either drop off food
I've cooked.
or cook food.
I don't cook, but I've cooked. I made like
He has.
what did
He
I
has.
make? Like some kind. I called it like chili
It's like
casserole.
it
or
was a
something,
chili casserole
but
with
it
some
was like
noodles.
we were able to feed probably like 25 people that day for
Correct.
about $20. So
Correct.
this is kind of what we're doing.
Spaghettis, pasta, pizzas. We've taken pizzas,
Shout out little
sandwiches. Just, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be, anything. Yeah, just and again, if you cannot come out on a Sunday, if you can make anything that we can keep frozen or we can keep in the refrigerator, that'll be, that can hold up until Sunday, we'd be more than happy, to pick it up, or you can drop it off to us.
Perfect. A couple more just little things, and then we're going to talk to Ezra here. I did want to point out, and I know this is coming up. This is happening at COD on Thursday, June 4th. There is a Human Services Clinical Division workshop for supervisors. So if you're unfamiliar, Mark Sanders will be lecturing on clinical supervision. If you're unfamiliar, Mark Sanders is like a living legend in this field. He actually gave the very first ROSC meeting, he did like a christening of the meeting almost, spoke at the very beginning. Amazing guy. So if you're interested, there is registration. There will be breakfast and lunch, but again, this is over at COD. I think there's some event info on Eventbrite. So if you look on their calendar, but this will be a good one for any and all supervisors. Last thing, I did want to put up just a little bulletin thing. We talked about this last month, but it is still in the news. And in fact, we've seen more notices about this recently. We're talking about the orphine class of synthetics. You may have seen it up as cyclorphine, but there's other orphines as well. All that basically is doing is referring to this one particular class of synthetic opioid. Like you see with some of the others, it can be up to 10 times the potency of fentanyl. Again, that's like in a vacuum. That doesn't mean it's always 10 times the potency of fentanyl. It's been identified here in Illinois a handful of times, but is still an emerging substance across the country. Kind of as I tell my staff, a lot of these trends start on the West Coast and East Coast and kind of make their way in. And so you'll see some of these things show up in Philly or DC or New York and then kind of make its way this way. Same thing from San Francisco going east. But there have been a few cases of this that's shown up so far. The problem with this and most emerging substances is by the time we get a grasp on one, another one comes up, or the rapid testing is cost prohibitive. And that's what we found with a lot of these things. So the rapid testing is not yet widely available, although I did see that the Office on National Drug Control Policy did send out an official notice about cyclorphene this week. The FDA has been looking into some certain notices and things. So there is some movement on it, but this can move glacially slow depending on who's running the show here. But like other synthetics, sometimes multiple doses of Narcan are needed. So this stuff is and does behave like an opioid. It's a synthetic. So Narcan will reverse an overdose if this stuff is involved. But as I tell my team as well, Narcan will always touch the opioid or opiate part of things. But if there is some type of illicit adulterant like a medetomidine or a xylazine tranquilizer, the Narcan's obviously not going to reverse that. So we always say Narcan is often as you need to, but still trying to find out how to reverse some of this other part of these overdoses. So keep an eye on those orphines. Okay, I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to give the mic over to our friend Ezra. Now, as I'm introducing Ezra, I'm also going to reshare so I can put your beautiful new website up on the screen. Awesome. All right, so Ezra, as long as the blue light's on, we will do this. So Ezra Fisk has been coming to Rasta for how long now? Has it been 2 years?
Something like 2 years, yeah.
Okay, so I just want to set the scene here. So again, we are at 360 Youth Services here in Naperville. They got involved, I think, again, the first year of our existence. I did some outreach here. We kind of checked each other out and realized like we kind of had similar missions in a lot of ways. And so what could we do together? You guys have a couple of like firsts for us. All right. So we were trying to figure out today if we could remember. We think that you were the very first Narcan box we ever did. We did two on the same day. So we did one of your residences, and then we did a 12-step club over here in Naperville. So it was two in Naperville, but I think we did you guys first. So congrats on being the first. Round of applause for them. But secondly, Ezra accepted on behalf of 360 our ROSC Awards Harm Reductionist of the Year Awards because 360 was the first out here to have all of their residences and other locations with boxes in. And I know there's more coming, which you'll even have even more now, which is awesome. So thank you for being such a great friend to our program, but also so forward thinking with the Narcan and the test strips and things like that. So
yeah, absolutely.
So Ezra, tell us a little about 360, how long you've been with them, and tell us a little about what you do for 360 Youth Services.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm Ezra Fisk, and I've been with 360 for about 3.5 years now, working in the housing department.
Time flies. Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, as you see up there, we've got counseling, housing, and prevention, but I've been in the housing department and
let's look at housing while you're talking. We'll just kind of pull some stuff up.
So most of my time I've been our transitional housing program. That's the residence you mentioned where our first Narcan box went in. And then for about the last 6 months, I've moved over to our new street outreach program and getting out there in the street and it's been great starting to collaborate with Serenity and some of your outreach. And
let's talk about the street outreach briefly. So I know that you switched over to that not too long ago. So what are you guys trying to accomplish with the street outreach? Is it for the same age range you're trying to work with the housing? Is that kind of your guys' sweet spot for who you're trying to?
Yeah, so all our housing services are for adults between the age of 18 and 24, so young adults. And yeah, really, I think we were seeing a gap in folks out there. Sometimes our programs are full, or sometimes they call our line, but they don't really follow up all the time. So trying to get the services out there and meet them more where they're at and lower those barriers to get case management supports to them, and also advocate to get them into our programs or some other housing programs.
Yeah. So, talk a little bit about the housing. And Christina's here too. So if you want to talk, you can, but you don't have to. But I'm always curious. So how does, so you said the length of stay that so they could be here for how long? So is it just the
It
age
depends
ranges?
per program. For a transitional housing, that's max stay is 2 years. For
Okay.
our emergency shelter programs, that can vary
Yes.
a little bit by need. And um we also have rapid rehousing programs.
Yeah.
And
So talk a little bit about that one.
that one's where we're uh helping folks get a lease on an apartment out in the community. It could be anywhere in DuPage or King County.
Nice.
And that's kind of like our least intensive program. They have a case manager, but they don't need quite so many supports as some of our other clients, and the lease is in their name, so that actually kind of
Yeah.
helps them get a start with rental history and stuff out there.
Building
But
credit and
building credit and building that history, and then they can keep that apartment when our support ends.
really,
They can yeah.
that's
So
great.
some of my most successful client exits out of like transitional have been into rapid, and then yeah, I'm thinking of a few people who they've got that apartment all on their own now,
That's amazing.
and we're done with our support and they're doing all right. Yeah.
Let me ask a question. So in the residences, and I guess, and I know this varies. So, do they go to like one-on-ones? Do they have groups that they can go to? What's that type of support look like for them, or what's the options for support?
It's primarily the one-on-one case management, and that's definitely what I'm most familiar with. We do have some group activities. We have a youth advisory board where they can start to get involved in directing some programming themselves.
Oh,
And
that's really cool.
yeah, they're actually in Springfield today doing some advocacy in the state capitol. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that's something that's come a long way just in the last few years.
Yeah, that's amazing. So the
So
advocacy work too, getting the residents involved, and yeah, that helps with the stigma, right? We talked about earlier.
yeah, and helps them kind of take control of some of that stigma
Yeah,
for their
yeah.
own sake. Yeah.
So I know when I first started chatting with you guys as an organization, I talked about, I think it was with Kelly originally, who was coming out to Raw Stuff about kind of the need at the time, and it's gotten better largely because some of the stuff that you guys have been doing, but the kind of specialized need for LGBTQIA plus like housing, right? So can you speak to the importance for that? I mean, there isn't a whole lot of people who are doing specialized housing like you guys do for that out here, right?
Yeah,
Or
that's
even
been
the groups or programs that you have for them.
yeah, that's been a special focus for us for years, really. And I
Yeah.
know Kelly was a huge part of that. Um, that's really important. And you were just mentioning stigma. There's a huge stigma around housing with LGBT people. And I can think of past places I've worked, like congregate shelters, where that would be a really difficult stigma to get around with some
Yeah.
folks. But here we make that a special focus, and yeah, forming our program so that people can live a
Yeah.
judgment-free kind of life.
Yeah, have some, have a safe environment for them where they can have some dignity. They don't have
Being
that
dignified
stigma and
environment.
stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's just as important too when we talked about the need for maybe specialized mental health and substance use services for some of them. I know the percentages of certain types of substances are higher with that group, and also the amount of specialized services for them is not that much at all. They don't really have a ton. And so I fully admitted when I started that was a blind spot for me. So like the more I could learn about the need for that, but also connecting people to those programs. Like I know that I've tried to refer people over to those groups over here, but it's grown leaps and bounds largely because of some of the footwork you guys did. So that's really, really cool. What else are you guys working on? So the housing, let's talk about the street outreach a little bit or the unhoused outreach. So when you came to us a few years ago or a few months ago when we were talking about it, I was like, this is great timing because we're trying to do the same thing. So talk a little bit about that. So you're going to go out and kind of meet people where they're at, literally, right?
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing across DuPage County, and meeting folks like where they're at, or in libraries and places like that. And I'm able to get out there and start doing case management
Yeah.
with them on the spot. So helping them get their ID documents and things like that.
You just talked about a really important one that,
Yeah.
and I think that's a barrier people do not think about.
And it's a huge barrier.
If you've ever tried to get ID with no ID,
Exactly. Try it.
so anecdotally, a few years ago, I had to do that.
Mhm.
And I had a birth certificate from out of state, so it
Yep.
was even worse. And you start in a hole. And a lot of people don't realize that that's a hole that people have to dig themselves out of. And it takes time away, and it's a lot to go through to get ID.
Yeah, that's been some of our toughest challenges over the years, myself and my coworkers, those folks that are just in that hole.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like they should get the same opportunities everybody else does for fresh starts, but some people just don't.
Yeah.
And then too, I would have to think, especially with maybe folks who identify as transgender, if they change their name,
Yep.
that's another issue, right?
Yeah, and we have a great connection with Carolyn Walskog at Youth Outlook. I don't know if
Yes,
you
she
ever
does
worked with
great
them, but
work.
she
Yeah,
does great work to help us with that.
yeah,
Yeah, those are all huge barriers.
yeah. If there's anything, do you have a question, Matilda?
Yeah.
Let's make sure we have the mic. Let me pass.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't imagine.
The mic coming around to you.
Come together. You guys come to other meetings. So you guys have.
We have a very big population. I am working with us, the healthcare alternative system. I am the case manager, and we have a big population of young people.
Mhm.
And what they can do if they want, they don't have a house, they are homeless. What is my, what I gonna take? What I gonna tell them about you? How is the intake? Do I send them here? How that thing works?
That's a perfect question. So the thing to do is we've got a few flyers here. Now we can get this in the
Yeah,
chat.
I have
chat,
it
But
here.
the thing to do
We
is
took
call.
all of them.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. You call.
No, they are here.
So step one then is to call our intake line, and that's that number right here.
It's here. Okay.
331-280-1985. They'll have to leave a voicemail, explaining their name and situation, age, and they'll get a call back from us. And that's step one to engaging with our services.
Do that.
Yeah, you can do that
I
on
mean,
their
because
behalf, but
sometimes
they will want to talk to them directly. And if we need,
okay, I understand.
they
but
will want to talk
sometimes
to them
they
directly.
are in different, and it's like you can approach them because the conditions that they are in. And what I can do, how long it takes, the call for the intake and to call back. How long it takes that?
The Christina, do you want to answer that?
We try to make sure. Yeah.
Here.
No. We try to make sure it's as quick as possible but because of the volume of calls that we get. Often it can take about 2 to 3 business days, sometimes a little longer, unfortunately.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So what about if they call from my office
Mhm.
and I gonna have the call back in my office?
If
Can
they're not
we
there when
arrange
we call
that?
back. Yes, we can arrange that. There's also like the option to email or text. So if you
Okay.
can't necessarily call, sometimes they'll have like Wi-Fi texting or something. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And email they can do, they can connect to the internet at the
You
library.
accept people that are in substance abuse treatment?
It depends on where they're at in their journey.
Like
So like if they're in the hospital
Oh, no,
actively, yeah,
no.
but yes, we do.
Okay. OP, IOP, whatever.
Yeah, there's no restrictions surrounding that.
Okay.
We have,
And what
don't
is
require-
the ah sometimes this English.
yeah, I can give you
Okay,
more
just
details
wanted
for sure.
to I would like to have your card,
Yeah.
your business card, but also how long it takes for them to be housing by you.
That one's that varies, but we respond as quickly as possible, but it depends on the availability of our rooms and they're in various locations in Naperville, Warrenville, but in DuPage County. Yeah. Yeah. We have some options in Kane for the rapid rehousing that I mentioned, and then also we're able to refer to other agencies as well.
All right. Look at that. We made a connection, folks. We made a connection. All right. Was there any part of the programs maybe we didn't get a chance to touch on, or is there anything that you wanted to make sure that we maybe retouched on if we didn't have enough time for it? I know that you guys do quite a bit of stuff, so I want to make sure we don't miss anything.
I think the one thing that we're adding to our services, and specifically mine and Christina's here, is we're at this location, we are looking to add a drop-in center in the near future. So out when you walk out front, the room on the left is what we're planning to add.
Okay.
Because people do walk in here looking for services. So
Of course.
if we can offer that drop-in service kind of merged with the street outreach, we'd be
I think
really
it's a great
excited.
model, like the drop-in model, especially if you can make it like inviting, where somebody where like we said, even if they're not like ready for service, but like they just need some place to kind of maybe ask some questions and just be in a safe spot for a little bit. So I think it's an important model. So when's that going to start, do you think?
That's under construction, but
Okay.
we'll let you all know.
That's
soon.
some of my favorites. Hey, under
Huh.
construction. There we go.
Yeah. Sometime this summer.
I love it. I love it. Well, if there's anything we can do to support that, like whether that's getting other organizations out to collaborate with you guys, we could bring the vans out sometime. Like I think it'd be a cool like collaborative.
Yeah, I think we
opportunity.
definitely are
Yeah.
down for that.
Excellent. Were there any questions from the folks online? You can put it in the chat. I'm sorry if I've not had a chance to check the chat as much. Scott actually did make a comment about the Orpheans. Just started to backtrack briefly, but he did point out that there is a hotspot in January 2026. Orpheans are uniquely hitting hard in Tennessee, which is nearby. Illinois is tied with California and Texas for second most deaths with the Orpheans between August and January. Now, that doesn't mean it's at like a crisis point, but they're just showing like off the rip, we're like number 2. So let's keep an eye on that. So yeah, so lastly, if anybody wants to get the services here, what's the best way to contact you guys for like assessments or anything?
Well, yeah, if you're an 18 and 24-year-old or you know an 18 and 24-year-old in need of housing, call our intake line 331-280-1985. You can text that number as well.
Okay.
And yeah, that's the way to get in touch.
Beautiful. All right. Christine, was there any last things you wanted to say about the programs? Give a hand for Ezra, everybody. He covered everything really well. Thank you, Christina. And also, we were talking before the meeting that we might give you guys yet another Narcan box for this site. So
that's right.
You guys are going for back-to-back Harm Reductionist of the Year awards.
Yep.
But no, we'll be happy to do that for you guys. I love the fact that you're forward thinking with harm reduction and other things around your residences. So thank you for being good partners. Anything we can do to help.
And thank you guys so much, and it's been a pleasure to host you all.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to like maybe open it up here for anybody who would like to promote programs they've got coming up this summer. Now, I know there's a lot of events. There are a lot of opportunities for collaboration, but I know there's a lot of needs too, because I get emails from people asking about things and do we do this? So I think this is a time where we can open that up a little bit. So who would like to start maybe just with an update on what your organization is working on? I may pick on people. I see a couple of our new people here. I do see Joe. Joe, do you want to introduce yourself real quick? He's gonna come off mute. There he is.
Yes, hi. Good afternoon. My name is Joe, and I'm brand new to the team. Looking very much forward to it.
Yeah, Joe came to us. So this is his first week. I think this is what, third day? All right. And he's not scared off yet, so that's a good thing. Anybody else got something they want to promote this summer? I will tell you, there's not a flyer for it yet, but I've reached out to some of y'all. August 31st, which is a Monday, is when we're doing OD Awareness Day this year. Previous years, it's been on Thursdays, but we're going to move it to the 31st to kind of there's a lot of traffic around that week with events and stuff. So we're going to kind of give you all a break on that particular week. Scott, I see your hand up. What you got?
Yeah, sorry don't mean to dominate the ROSC meeting, but hey everybody, hope you're doing well. One program that we are excited about is and kind of just so everybody here is aware, The DuPage Narcan program is going to be shifting over the next couple months to not very different, but slightly changed in name to the DuPage naloxone program. So, as that name would probably imply, we are going to be changing to no longer having the name brand Emergent Narcan and shifting to the Patagus generic naloxone. Not a big deal at all, but just kind of FYI for everybody here that we would expect the county, since we get our supply, I know Jarrett gets his supply from the state. We believe that that is probably going to be shifting over to Patagus pretty soon. In line with that change, and something we're really thrilled to get ROSC's help with on is we're going to be ordering these countertop distribution boxes. So like we talked a lot about the wall mounted 50 kit vending cabinets, but kind of for businesses that are not likely to install a wall mounted vending cabinet, but would be interested in just having like a countertop thing with some boxes there. We're working on the final design for that and going to be ordering those in the next week or so. And then over this summer, reaching out to businesses that either may have reason to believe that people that use might be patronizing, or just want to have offer naloxone in what might otherwise be like a desert in terms of access. We're going to be hitting the pavement and trying to get those distributed far and wide at places like smoke shops, gas stations, but really any business that's interested and has like a retail space that would be interested in having one of those. So excited for that coming soon this summer.
Can I ask a question? Because I know you and I have talked about this, but so everybody else knows. So people who or organizations who currently have one of our boxes, meaning yours or ours, that will have to be retrofitted, correct?
That is true. And so that is maybe the least fun part of this whole thing. This whole thing is switching over to regular naloxone is not an issue at all, except for that very, very important issue of the new naloxone not fitting the current machines. However, we do have grant funds that allow us to, we're ordering on Monday morning 30 conversion kits, which I think would cover every machine that is out in the community. And so the only issue there is that we're going to have to basically split up and drop these off and show them. The installation isn't difficult because they're like Velcro. The slots are Velcro mounted, and it's just taking the old ones out and putting the new ones in. So it's no cost for the places that currently have them. It's just a little annoying because they'll have to clear it and then put the new ones in when they switch their supply to the naloxone.
So everybody, if you do have a box, just be on the lookout for Scott's or my reaching out to you saying we will be out there to take a look at your conversion kit, etc. We went through this once before. We didn't have as many boxes and machines up as we do now, but it wasn't too painful. So hopefully we can get through this one too.
Yeah, and at least this is due to the product being slightly different rather than idiotically changing the size of the box for absolutely no reason.
Just with more air in the box.
Yeah. I mean, I
do have Phil hand up from Stony Brook. Phil, what's going on, man?
Hello. Hey, Jared. Hello, everybody. My name is Phil. I'm over at Stony Brook Center Inc. over in Wheaton, Illinois. And for anybody who's not familiar, we do medication-assisted treatment and substance use disorder counseling, both at the IOP and OP level. You might hear some squeaking in the background. My apologies. My puppy is sitting right here.
Oh.
And I'd show you the video, but
to see it.
He was there a second ago, and then he hit my laptop, and so I think he did something to my camera. So now I'm off.
Oh, that's okay.
But I just wanted to let everybody know that starting this coming month, we are going to be offering tattoo removal at Stony Brook Center. And so this is through we received actually 2 different grants, one from Schultz Foundation for Advanced Counseling and the other from the city of Naperville. And, so we're offering this service for anybody that, may have, gotten their tattoo, whether it was related to trauma, possibly human trafficking, gang related activity.
Yeah.
And so, anybody that is interested, you can give us a call. And, we've recently partnered with another organization that can help financially with it. So, if somebody is, in a position where they can't afford to do it, they could give us a call and we can see what we can do to help them out.
That's pretty amazing, Phil. We will definitely be in touch. I know, there's a couple groups that do that. When I found out that DuPage County Jail was doing it for some of their people inside who wanted to get out of the gang lifestyle. I mean, it's a pretty amazing thing. I'll let you go with the puppy. He sounds cute from the sounds. I can't see him, but thank you, Phil. We'll get it to you. It's in the chat.
Absolutely. Next month, I'll have the camera on. I'll show everybody then.
Thanks, Phil. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Who else? We got a few more minutes here. Anybody else like to promote anything, either online or in person? Brianna, let's get the prices right, Mike.
Thank you. So I'm Brianna. I am with Oxford House, and we have an Oxford House documentary that was filmed last year. We are doing a VIP premiere screening. So the film is complete, and all across the country, we're doing VIP special screenings for this documentary, inviting all of our community partners, everybody to come out and see it. I've seen it twice now. It's incredible. But I will probably have to coordinate with you, Jared. I know that you received the invite, but we are doing RSVPs because we are having it at the one up in this area is going to be at Classic Cinemas in Elk Grove Village. It's going to be on Wednesday, May 27th. It's going to be from 4 to 6. The film will start at 4:30. It's a 60-minute film, so it'll be from 4:30 to 5:30. So we're allowing like 30 minutes beforehand, 30 minutes afterwards for networking, questions, hanging out, all that kind of stuff. So I will get that information to Jarrett, and if the easiest way to blast it out to our DuPage County ROSC people. But I do encourage you guys, if you do plan on coming, or if you're on the fence about it, to send in an RSVP because we're having it in a theater. Seats are limited. We definitely want to try to get as many of our community partners to come as possible. You can bring guests with you, right? If you and a coworker want to come, or otherwise, you can share it amongst your organizations and try to get as many people to come out as possible to see it. This is a film that will be available to the public. I want to say sometime this fall. I'm hoping that we can find some kind of platform. I don't know what that looks like yet, if we're talking Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything like that, but we're certainly trying. But yeah, this is something that's really cool that we're doing now. Just keep in mind, if you do go to the link, it's just a Google form that you fill out, but there are different locations listed there. We've got a Granite City screening that's on a different day. We've got one happening in Peoria, and then there's one in Milwaukee. So just make sure that you select, the correct location that you're going to be going to. Double check the dates, double check the times. And of course, you can reach out to me with any additional questions. But yeah, looking forward to it.
That sounds amazing. You can count me and Annette in for sure. We will be there. So we got about another minute. Anybody else have anything that they would like to promote in? Let's pass that microphone down. As long as the blue light's on. What you got, Matilda?
Well, to Scott.
To Scott's comment for Scott.
Thank you very much for the summit on last Saturday. It was awesome. Everybody was very on to it. And I personally get a lot of referrals, and it was a wonderful source. Thank you, Scott. Very well done,
She was talking about, I won't speak for them, but he's talking about the Youth Mental Health Summit from this past weekend, put on by Scott and the wonderful folks over at the DuPage Health Department. Great turnout. Had a nice time over there. Always fun to, and I get occasionally they ask me to sit in with important people to get photos, and then the next year I'll get to do it again. So it was a really nice time. So hopefully there'll be another one next year. He says thank you for coming. All right. It is 4 o'clock. In the interest of everybody's time, we'll go ahead and give you the rest of your day back. Now, again, next Wednesday at 10 a.m., we're going to do that live virtual watch party. Please feel free to share that stuff. We would love to have you pack the virtual room. And then lastly, 7.0 is like, I'm hearing more and more about it, getting more and more questions about it. If you or your organization is interested in our 7.0 presentation, just reach out to me. I'm happy to share that, the video, the slides themselves, or to come do it for you. So next month, we're at Banyan Treatment Services in Lisle. We hope you can come out. Ben Rudolph will be there in person. If you're somebody who likes to
Yes, Ben.
see the rock star that is Ben, he will be there with us. And yeah, so recording will be up hopefully on YouTube tomorrow. Feel free to share with anybody that wasn't able to make it. And then we'll see you next month, everybody. Adios.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.